Mark meets Gary Jacobs, the CEO of Fox Kalomaski Crossing. Hi Gary. Can you give us a very quick summary of your career today?
I can, yes. I started in advertising when I was straight out of school, aged 19. I wanted to get into a big agency, but they weren't interested in me because I didn't have a university education.
How did you know about advertising? Why was advertising on your radar at the time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I have no idea. I wanted to be a writer. I actually wanted to be a journalist. I had a crap education at a comprehensive school out in Hertfordshire, and they didn't tell me anything about the potential of what I could do. So I learnt to type, I learnt to speed write, but I couldn't get into university. So I had that creative feel about me. I wanted to do something exciting and interesting, but the door was closed on getting into the big agencies. I think I wrote to about 30 of the big agencies, and this was back in the 70s, late 70s. But nobody was interested in seeing me. So I got in through the back door of a family design company. Small agency, 10 people, great learning experience because I was working with the MD, the sales director as he was known then. So I learnt...
What was your job title at the time?
Gopher. So I was doing everything. I was doing media buying, I was doing client management, I was doing production. You know, it was almost like a traditional apprenticeship, and I did that for 17 years. The company was bought by Grey, became Grey Business Worldwide. I was creative services director, board director, and got out and started up my own shop in '95. So I had 2 jobs.
So this agency started as, what was its first name?
The agency was started off as a company called Kalomaski Kelly. Kalomaski was my grandfather. He was the first wave of Polish immigrants back in the 1800s. Kelly was my other grandfather, and I was never passionate about putting my name above the door. And when I discovered the name Kalomaski, I thought, that's amazing. When I become that famous writer, I will use the name Kalomaski. That didn't happen. When I opened the agency, I thought, yeah, I'll stick that above the door. So it became Kalomaski Kelly. I met a chap called Stephen Fox, who was ex-Sarches, in '97. And he had a shop called Fox Clark. I had Kalomaski Kelly. We decided to come together and we became Fox Kalomaski.
And Fox Kalomaski Crossing now?
We bought Crossing O'Sullivan, merged with Crossing O'Sullivan back in 2011. FKC as we're known now. FK used to be primarily retail and travel. In the recession times, retail and travel were the first areas where people stopped spending money. So we recognised that organic growth was going to be tough, so we needed to look at new ways of doing things. There's a lot of good people out there, whether they're good at sales, whether they're good at creativity. We're good at running a business, been around now since, say, '95, so 18 years, something like that. And we recognised that we needed to grow the ability of the agency and to be able to support all the staff, the good people that we've got. So we looked out, how can we grow it? And merger acquisition was a route for us. Crossing came in 2011, brought another agency in 2011. So now we're a broader church of retail, travel, lifestyle, healthcare, getting broader to an integrated agency of all types, but with silos of specialism, silos of expertise.
What does the future hold for FKC?
That's a very good question. We've always wanted to be an agency with a reputation for knowing what we do well, for delivering good value for our clients, and for having fun as we do it. We're not a name that everybody knows. The name Kalomaski will often resonate with people because it's a strange name. How do you spell it? And where does it come from, etc. But so we come out of big agencies: Sarches, Grey. Peter Crossing used to run 141. So we've got pedigree, but we're a relatively small agency, 33 people. We don't want to be big, but we want to be good at what we do. We want to have fun at what we do. We want to work with some good brands, and we do it.
Have there been agencies or an agency during the time that you've been in this industry you've always looked up to and kind of hugely respected?
I had an interesting situation back in 1995 when I started up. My daughter, my eldest daughter, was at school with a young lad. She was invited to his 4th or 5th birthday, I can't remember what it was, and it turned out that the father was a chap called, I can't remember his name, the guy who runs Mother. He started Mother up the same time I started FKC. Mother went like a trajectory to the moon very quickly, hugely creative. Robert Saville. And my company grew at the rate that we grew. So I've always looked up to Mother because they were doing things very, very differently. I think they're an amazing agency and doing very well today.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you in your career?
Oh.
Is there a situation with staff, with clients, or pitching where you've got a great story to tell?
That's a very good question, and the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me probably when I called a client a strong name and I hadn't put the phone down yet, and I was still on the other end.
Classic.
Got away with it. I had a good relationship with them, but there haven't been too many embarrassing moments.
And did he hear it?
Yeah, he did. We talked about it afterwards. You really did piss me off that day. So, yeah, I think the key thing about having good relationships is absolutely vital. I've had the benefit of going to a number of universities to talk to second and third year students about the industry. Because what I've found is that when grads come out of university, they don't always have a real feel for what we do. It's very much, they see it from a process point of view of the course that they're doing, but they don't get the real experience. And I've always said there's three things that you've got to get to grips with. There's cost, creativity and chemistry. The cost of your agency and your creativity can always be sorted out if your chemistry is right. But if you haven't got chemistry with a client or with your people, you're screwed.
And I guess that comes into culture as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The culture of Fox Kalomaski Crossing is we're a big family. We keep our people for a good period of time. We keep our relationships with our clients for a good period of time, 5, 6, 7 years and more. If you don't get that relationship right, then you shouldn't be in the business anyway.
What's the best brand? What's the most exciting brand you've had the pleasure of working on?
I'm fortunate to have landed in the area of travel. I do a lot of work with the travel industry, and exciting brands like Bahamas, great to go out there and great place to be. But probably one of the most engaging brands was Tunisia. We worked with Tunisia for 6 years, and that went through the Jasmine Revolution. Taking a country like Tunisia and helping them to reposition was amazing. It's fantastic. We saw the best footfall figures into Tunisia than they've ever had in 2010.
So it was a kind of visit Tunisia.
It was getting people to consider Tunisia as a destination. So to actually reform and reshape the brand and actually put it on people's radar in a way that they'd never thought of before, hugely exciting. It's not the sexiest brand in the world in terms of travel, but great experience to actually be involved in helping them to reform in the hearts and minds of the UK consumer why they should put Tunisia on their list.
What have been the best perks of having clients in the travel industry?
Not as good as you think.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a free travel, free flight anymore. However, if you have to go out to see a country that you've got to sell, you've got to do the things that a traveller's got to do. So I've been very fortunate in being in the Bahamas, doing things that travellers want to do, and saying, I'm doing this as part of my job. I remember again when I was talking to a bunch of students, I said for the first 10 years that I worked in this industry, I used to get a real kick out of getting a paycheck at the end of the month, thinking, I get paid for doing this job, as well as actually doing it, and the excitement of actually being in the advertising industry. And I don't think that's changed. I've been doing it for a long time now, and an old cliche, but every day is different. It's challenging, but actually, it's great fun. So whether I'm in the Bahamas or I'm down the road in Mayfair seeing the client, it's still, you get a buzz out of it. It's a great industry.
What's your favourite ad campaign of all time? Is there one that stands out with you?
Yes, there is one. You know what, it's interesting because it doesn't come straight to my head that I think, I've got to talk about the Apple campaign, or I'll talk about... no, I'll go back on that. There is no one campaign that really makes me think, Yeah, I wish I'd have done that. There's plenty. Yeah, there are plenty of campaigns and there's plenty of brands that I thought, yeah, I'd really like to work on that. But it's actually a sad indictment of the industry to think there's no one campaign that makes me think, I wish I could do that. Guinness, great, but I like a pint of Guinness. So.
What's the best bit of career advice you've ever been given, or you could give other people?
I don't think I was ever given any good career advice growing up, but sort of had it in latter days. But the advice that I try to give is, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, don't do it. Yeah, there's too many people that you see going to work thinking, I really hate this job. Well, then why are you doing it? Get out and do something different. So Einstein's theory of is it madness, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If you go in every day and you're not enjoying it, don't expect you're going to enjoy it the next day. If you can't change the situation, change your attitude towards it. And that's my philosophy of trying to engage with something on a different level.
What's the best thing about agency life for you?
Variety, people. Let's stick with people. People, whether it's internal people, the people that we work with, some great creative minds, great strategic thinkers, some great people who are just good at getting the job done. And that's on the client side, that's on our own people here, with our suppliers, people we work with. It's so much of people's business. And also, where a great idea comes from. Now, I talked when we started, I talked about the idea of I wanted to be a writer, and I had creativity buzzing around in my head. But I'm a suit, I've always been the bag carrier. And when I worked in an agency life before I started up my own shop, you could never express your idea to the creative department and they'll listen to you. And I'm sure there's loads of creatives out there, loads of creative departments that say, yeah, suits, you stay away, this is our role. But actually a good idea can come from anywhere. And I think that's the great thing, that if you've got a great thought, a great concept, get it out there. And for client management folk, account people, they should never be frightened of saying, I've got an idea here, can we talk about it? And you might get snubbed, but eventually, if the idea is robust enough and good enough, then yeah, anybody should listen to you.
What are your interests outside of work? What do you do in your spare time?
Cycling. I love cycling. And I've always been into sports, I love sports. Let's stick with cycling for the moment, because it wasn't until I was in my 50s that I discovered cycling and I found a new lease of life.
So is that for health reasons, or you just generally...
Yeah, started off as health. 10 of us cycled to Paris 2 years ago. Getting sedentary, we have a lunch club, meet twice a year, and one of the boys said, getting a bit fat, need to do something. So somebody said cycling. We ended up cycling to Paris, raised a couple of £1,000 for cancer research, and it's suddenly changed my life. So cycling is really cool. Signed up for the Ride London 100 race on the 4th of August this year, so I'll be out there looking for sponsorship. But yeah, cycling's good. Outside of that, film, theatre. My daughter's just doing a course at Bristol University on drama, and so a very theatrical family. Saw Singing in the Rain last night for Valentine's Day. Great show, great film. So yeah.
It's really cheesy.
Yeah, totally.
Really cheesy. Do you cycle to work?
No.
You just cycle in your spare time?
I live 8 miles away, door to door, and I don't work up enough of the sweat. So
seriously?
Yeah.
Well, that's how fit you are. That's pretty good.
I spin. Spinning is probably the best thing I've done.
Let's move on to a quick fire round. One word answers.
Yeah.
Can line or D&AD pencil?
D&AD.
Olympic gold medal or an Oscar?
Oscar.
The brightest person you've worked with?
My wife.
The most creative person you've worked with?
Pass.
The best looking person you've worked with?
I don't work with my wife, but I say my wife.
Okay, safe answer. Creatives or suits?
Creatives.
I knew that would be tough. Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Degree or no degree?
No degree.
Art directors or copywriters?
Copywriter.
Retained work or pitch work?
Retained.
Web or mobile?
Mobile.
Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Ant or deck?
Ant and deck.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
outsourced.
Don Draper or Roger Sterling?
Say again?
Don Draper or Roger
Draper.
Sterling?
Draper.
And lastly, twist or stick?
Twist.
Or stick.
Twist.
Thank you very much.